Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of this Python programming series. In the last lesson, we learned how to display output using the print function, and how to store information in variables. Now that you understand how your program can talk to you, it's time to learn how your program can listen to the user. In this part, we're introducing something powerful, something that turns your Python code from a simple script into an interactive experience. I'm talking about the input function. So think of an input function as a question your program asks the user. The program waits until the user types something and presses enter, and whatever they type gets stored inside a variable. Here's a simple example. Make a name variable, input function, and ask the user what is your name. And to show it, make a print function hello variable. And so what is happening here? Python shows the message what is your name. The user types something, for example Alice. The answer gets stored in the variable name. Then we print a greeting using that value. If the user types Alice, let's run this for example, the program responds hello Alice, as you can see here. This is the first step towards making your program feel alive. They can react based on what the user says. Now, here's something very important that every beginner needs to know. No matter what the user types, numbers, letters, symbols, Python will always treat the input as text, always known as string. You can test it like this. Age equal input, how old are you? And to show it, you can make a print function type age. And if the user types 20, Python will say class string. That might feel a bit strange at first. You type the number, but Python thinks it's text, and this matters a lot when you want to do math. If you try something like print age plus 1, it's going to cause an error because you can't add a number to a string. So how do we fix that? To convert user input into numbers, we use something called type conversion. So int before the input function, and make sure to put the parentheses at the end. So now if the user enters 30, Python treats it as number 30, and the math works. If you want to convert to a float, go ahead and create a new variable. Float, same thing like the integer, before the input, enter your height. And print height. This is useful when you're dealing with decimals like 1.75 or 5.9. Now your program can perform calculations, just like a real app. Now let's combine everything and build a very small calculator. Go ahead and create a print function that greets the user. Welcome to Mini Calculator. And we want to add the sum of two results. So ask the user for one variable, float for decimal numbers, enter your first number. And create a second variable, num2, same thing like num1. And now create the last variable, result, that adds the two variables together. Print this to see the result. So when you run this, Python asks for two numbers, adds them, and display a result. 1 plus 5, 6. So congratulations, you just created your first interactive tool. So why does user input matter? User input is one of the most important things you learn in Python because it allows your programs to react differently each time, makes your tools flexible, and is the foundations for bigger projects. Every app you use takes input from users, like banking apps to logging in. Python lets you do the same thing with just one function. In part 3, we'll take things even further by learning how to make your program think. You learn how to write code that decides what to do based on conditions, almost like you're giving a program a brain. Before moving on, just make sure you're comfortable with asking questions using input function, print the user's answers, and convert strings to numbers using int and float. Once you got that down, you're ready for decision making in Python.